Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's video, we are talking about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This is a movie that came out last year, 2022, and yeah, I am definitely behind on watching this film. Obviously, if you don't know what this film is about, it is about a group of friends that get together for a weekend and decide to play a game called Bodies, 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 which is basically, it's like a murder mystery type game where they turn off all of the lights and someone is the killer and they have to try to guess who the killer is, basically. But then things turn into a real version of this game. Now, this is a film that I did want to see when it initially came out. It's just another one of those cases where I didn't get an opportunity to go see it in theaters, and it's not really anywhere streaming right now for free, at least. You have to have some sort of Showtime account, and I have a lot of different streaming services, but I do not have Showtime, and I was not wanting to pay to upgrade to watch it, so I actually ended up going to Redbox and renting it through them, and rented a couple other movies which I'll be reviewing as well. Now, this is a film that I was told by everybody that I should definitely check out because it is murder mystery style, which obviously I love a good mystery slasher type film. Those are really my favorite go-tos, and it also has Pete Davidson in it, who I also really like. So I was actually really excited to watch this film, and I will say in kind of the beginning I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. There's definitely some drama amongst friends. This is definitely a group of kind of rich, well-off kids that are friends through seemingly circumstances. They've all kind of been friends for decades, and none of them really seem to like each other. There is a lot of hatred within this group, which makes for good drama through the film. But as it was going along, I was honestly just feeling a little disappointed. Wasn't really feeling this film even after the first death, which I'll be talking about spoilers. Pete Davidson's character, David, is the first body to pop up, which I was also kind of a little bummed about, but I was like, it's fine, kind of makes sense. You don't really want him taking over the movie too much. Even after things started to heat up, I just really wasn't feeling this film, and I was just kind of a little bit disappointed until there is a scene in the film where everything is very tense. A few people have now died, and they're really trying to figure out who it is. We're now down to 4 girls, 3 of who have been longtime friends. One of them is the girlfriend to one of the other characters in the film, and they just start emotionally and immensely attacking each other. They are digging deep, they are attacking kind of the worst parts about each other's characters. As much as it is kind of a fucked up scene revealing how much these characters actually can't stand each other, it is also somewhat funny just the way that they do it, because I don't think it's meant to be completely taken seriously. At one point, one of the characters, Sophie, calls out another character, Jordan, for hate listening to another character, Alice's podcast, and constantly shit talking her, and then they just call each other out for their constant need to be the victim. But I will say there is one part during that I liked, where Sophie, who's played by Amanda Stenberg, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but she's a woman of color, and she is an addict, which they address pretty early on, and she just addresses the fact that her friends know that she is, and they criticize her for it, and they criticize her for getting help, even though they're the ones that pushed her to, and she just basically calls them out on the hypocrisy of the fact that her as a woman of color being an addict is a problem, but when their friends, and especially David, Pete Davidson's character, when he does it as a straight white man, it's okay. and it's like funny, and it's not a problem for him or any of the other characters to be snorting coke and drinking and doing all these drugs in front of her, even though they know that she has this problem. And that's honest, that's realistic, and I definitely liked the way that she called them out on that. And I feel like that's also kind of important for audiences to hear as well. But then as the film kind of continued on and we finally start to come to a close, we're down to 2 characters. We are down to the character of Sophie and her girlfriend B, and it, again, spoiler warning for how this film ends if you haven't seen it. So they end up kind of wrestling over Sophie's phone. B is trying to find her text. They end up finding a different phone, which ends up being David's phone, and they use his face to like open up the phone, because it's the iPhone, and they end up finding out that he accidentally killed himself trying to film a TikTok video. So it's revealed that this entire time there was no real killer. They thought that somebody was, but it was literally just him being stupid and fucking around with this sword and accidentally killing himself. And then all of the kind of other deaths are accidental. We end up finding out that the character of Emma, who they believe was pushed by the killer, actually accidentally fell while on drugs. We know that B accidentally kills one of the other characters in self-defense. They also end up accidentally shooting another character in self-defense. It's all of these deaths that happen are accidental, which definitely makes for like a different ending for a film. It's definitely not something that I've really ever seen before. Obviously, like, I'm sure there's been films that have had like accidental deaths, but not to this like crazy of an extent, at least not that I've seen, which again makes for an interesting ending, but I wasn't a super fan of it. I was like, oh, well, that was kind of a cheesy ending. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was like a little bit kind of disappointed with the way that this film ends. I went into it, and obviously, like, you're supposed to go into this film with the idea that it's gonna be a whodunit slasher. So of course they have to hit you with like a twist ending, but I don't know, I love the kind of whodunit slasher style, and it just felt not like a cop-out, but I just personally wasn't a big fan of it and ended up a little bit kind of disappointed in this film. I think maybe I just went into it with too high of expectations because I kept being told by everybody that this was going to be a film that I really liked, and I don't know, I was just a little let down. Maybe it's just not for me. But if you have seen this film, let me know what your thoughts were on it in the comments below. If you did enjoy it, let me know why, and maybe I could end up with a different take on it, who knows. But I hope that you guys did enjoy this quick little review. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for more horror and spooky related content, and I will see you all again later with another video. Bye!